As we celebrate 10 years of the existence of this award, as Patrick has mentioned, I'm personally gratified to be here this evening because I joined CMA just a few months ago, and I'm so happy to see this gathering that demonstrates our commitment in the financial sector in the East region to excellence in the information we disseminate to the public. But just as I'm new to CMA, to the capital market, I have also the privilege to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, Ambassador Richard Sazibela, the Secretary General of the community. He is also a few months old to the community, and not only that, he comes from one of the newest members of the community. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, it's those of us who are new to our assignments, new members of the associations that we have joined, that have the greatest task of steering the change process that is facing us, not just in this country, but regionally, and also globally. Ladies and gentlemen, the presence of the Secretary General of the community is a major milestone because, as Patrick mentioned, this event is going to become regional, and who knows, beyond the community, we may extend it to become Pan-African. It's just a beginning. And the task ahead is going to be steered by Ambassador Richard Sazibela. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a big clap to our new Secretary General of the East African Community. Welcome, Ambassador Sazibela. If I do not pronounce your name properly, it's because I also forgive those who do not pronounce the name Gatabaki properly because it's Oriental in pronunciation. So, one ambassador, please bear with us. This is indeed an important event where we are seeking to reward and encourage the excellence in financial reporting. Excellence in financial reporting, ladies and gentlemen, is important as it will help us to ensure that disclosures by our companies, both listed and non-listed, are benchmarked to international standards. Times have gone when we could just look around us and say, okay, we can only compare your results or the reports of your accounts or your company performance with your neighbors. As I said, we have become regional, we have become global. The events of the financial turbulence in our countries are no more restricted to the countries we come from. They are regional, they are global, and even more serious in other arenas than in our own. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's very, very important that we give a premium to what we are trying to do because it's not isolated in our own territories. Improved financial reporting standards are key to ensuring that corporate governance standards are to the highest levels. This is important, ladies and gentlemen, for all the corporates, as governance is now key to all the companies that we either represent, listed or non-listed. Proper disclosures of governance on issues such as related party transactions, directors' disclosures, transfer pricing, and all those issues are key to the growth of the capital markets in our country. They are key to the confidence of all the investors, both foreign and local, in participating in the capital markets, and indeed in all the transactions that we represent. Personally, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to appeal to you to join hands with the regulators that are like CMA to bring up these issues of disclosures. I need not stress here that from recent events in this country, from what you have been reading, there are indeed so many lapses, omissions, impunity, corporate arrogance, corporate this and this, issues that affect the way we conduct our corporate business. If those of you in the media, if those of you in various aspects of disclosure or assisting disclosure of these events could join regulators like CMA to bring these matters alight, do more investigative reporting, we will be pushing our economies and our governance practices to higher levels. As I said, in the past, within CMA, we have issued various guidelines how corporates, those listed on the stock exchange, should behave in way of governance. And where companies are not fully compliant with the guidelines, they will be expected, for instance, to say so, and sometimes to make amends to one's rectifying their omissions. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, in the past, these have always been guidelines. Guidelines to the extent that those corporate rogues, and I can call them rogues and there are many, can afford to say no. They don't affect us. When a regulator, keep your side, and we'll do what we have always done. Times have come, ladies and gentlemen, when, as Patrick mentioned, the Constitution, the new Constitution that we have implemented in this country, has opened us huge opportunities to look at ourselves, especially in the corporate world, and say, never again we'll have guys in the corporate world who will behave as if others don't look at what they are doing. We have an obligation, every single one of us, to tell them, never again. Never again, because if you are CEO of a corporate entity and you do not even respect the basic governance that govern your own board, your company, and the stakeholders, we will be in a position to tell you, Mr. CEO, step aside. Let somebody else do the job. To answer this, ladies and gentlemen, we in CMA have already started a process of amending our own regulations and statutory ethics. We have already submitted a whole document to the Minister for Finance to approve so that we can have more powers, more enforcement guidelines, that when we say you as a board are not behaving for the sake of the other stakeholders, of the small shareholders, we would like you to step aside. And I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, having come from an environment where respect for governance is highly respected, I would like to see that also respected in the private sector. And I will not hesitate, and it doesn't matter what board and who is concerned, if they do not comply with the good rules of regulations of governance, well, you have an obligation to disclose what is happening. Do not wait until the annual results are published and you pick a few items which are published there. There are so many other things which are not disclosed. Be investigative. And as McPhee said, at least that knows to pick on information that has not been disclosed should be the guiding principle as to how we reward those who report on the various aspects of governance, transparency, and the events that are happening in our corporate world. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I stand here, I'm privileged to be part of this new process, to be part of this new change process, that to ensure that we have a community that respects the wishes of the majority, the wishes of the investors, the wishes of stakeholders. Because unless we do that, we just continue crying about our small things, about inflation, about currency, misbehavior, about this and this. But if we all join together to fight these issues, I'm sure we'll save our economies going ahead for better days. I'd like to say one or two things about corporate social responsibility, because it's now fashionable for most listed companies and others which are not listed to demonstrate their commitment to help those around them. And you have read, you have seen, and you have been witnesses to tree planting here, helping children, those who are unable to help themselves, aged, and all that. And this is a good development, ladies and gentlemen, because it's not only sharing the profits through dividends that we can reward the stakeholders. We do have a responsibility to those who are around us. Unfortunately, once again, there are few of our corporates, of our executives, who stress this number initiative to another direction. They'll use funds from stakeholders, from shareholders, to even ensure they buy owners in other institutions. They play politics with shareholder funds. Ladies and gentlemen, This is a continuation of the impunity I talked about, corporate impunity. And if we are going to amend our society in other areas, we should also shout it to some of those people and say, okay, you can go that far, and we know what you're trying to do, because we can judge it through the genuine commitment of these institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, if I continue on this line, there are a few of you who will start wondering whether I'm also a candidate for the governor of Nairobi. I'm not, but I'm a governor of the corporate world.